You don't need to make Gervonta Davis against the guy who pumps my gas, and because you need him to keep manufacture this star continuously. You know,
want to retire with the career that he got, then go ahead and do whatever you got to do. So I did.
Tank Davis has come under fire for some of his recent decisions, which have not only had negative impacts on his career, but also on the sport of boxing. Many boxing professionals believe that while Gervonta Davis is undoubtedly a talented fighter, he may end up being seen as ordinary due to his poor choices and carelessness. According to some critics, Davis seems to content with mediocrity, and this mindset could be a big reason why he might not reach the heights many initially expected of him in the sport.
The Gervonta Davis fight with Lamont Roach. Lamont's a good fighter. He's a perennial contender. He's been a contender for his whole career. I think he's been pro for about a decade. I can remember him all the way back in his Golden Boy days. Was, solid perennial contender. Always came up just a little.
The last few weeks have been turbulent for Gervonta Davis after he surprised fans with the announcement of his retirement from boxing in early December 2024. He then sent out confusing messages regarding his next fight against Lamont Roach Jr. Last week, Davis also got into a spat on social media with Terrence Crawford. Despite the drama, Davis still has a fight scheduled against Lamont Roach Jr. to defend his WBA lightweight title on March 1st at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. So far, there's been no official word on any cancellation of this date. Davis has hinted that he would announce his next opponent soon, with rumors pointing to a potential rematch against Ryan Garcia, who will serve the remainder of his one-year suspension on April 20th. After testing positive for Ostarine following his fight with Devin Haney.
Do you still think that fight's possible? I know he might have a break after that fight with Lamont Roach, but do you feel like you guys could fight 2025 or 2026?
If Gervonta Davis plans to retire with 3 fights in 2025 after facing Roach, he will have the spots available for potential opponents. One of those could be Ryan Garcia, as Davis has hinted at the possibility of a rematch. Meanwhile, a former weight world champion has lashed out at the current boxing superstar, Davis. Tank is known for his explosive power, speed, and knockout ability, all of which have made him one of boxing's most exciting fighters. He became one of the youngest champions in the sport at just 22 years old, and has held titles in the super featherweight, lightweight, and super lightweight divisions. Davis has secured big wins over the likes of Leo Santa Cruz, Mario Barrios, Rolando Romero, and Ryan Garcia. As of 2025, Davis remains undefeated, although he has not been particularly active, with his last fight being a victory over Frank Martin in June 2024. Fans have long been anticipating more high-profile matchups, including a unification with Shakur Stevenson or a showdown with Vasyl Lomachenko.
And also very experienced at this point now. He's fought and seen pretty much every style there is, and there's power.
Speaking to Fight Hype, Paulie Malignaggi expressed his dismay at Gervonta Davis picking what he perceives to be easy opponents when it was announced that Davis would be facing Lamont Roach, a super featherweight champion moving up for the challenge. In March, Malignaggi wasn't impressed. If Lamont Roach had made 4 or 5 defenses at 135, you'd be selling me a little bit. I'd be curious, but no, you're just recycling the same champions. You're not even progressing. You're killing the sport to line your pockets, Malignaggi said. He continued, I defend the sport. I want the best matchups possible. You're not going to entertain me with B-level matchups just because they're pay-per-views.
Python is a dangerous animal, and I gotta see a python take on an alligator. I'll say, okay, well, why do I gotta watch a python taking on a turkey or a rooster or a chicken? Why do I gotta watch that? I already know what's gonna happen. You know what I mean? That's a...
Speaking to Fight Hype, Paulie Malignaggi expressed his dismay at Gervonta Davis picking what he perceives to be easy opponents when it was announced that Davis would be facing Lamont Roach, a super featherweight champion moving up for the challenge. In March, Malignaggi wasn't impressed. If Lamont Roach had made 4 or 5 defenses at 135, you'd be selling me a little bit. I'd be curious, but no, you're just recycling the same champions. You're not even progressing. You're killing the sport to line your pockets, Malignaggi said. He continued, I defend the sport. I want the best matchups possible. You're not going to entertain me with B-level matchups just because they're pay-per-views.
Give it a Nile River crocodile or alligator, and when I confuse alligators and crocodiles, but whatever. Give it a Nile River alligator, and
In December, The WBA lightweight champion surprised fans by announcing his intention to leave the sport after 2025, citing frustrations with boxing politics as a key reason. Davis confirmed his dissatisfaction with the sport and revealed plans to retire following his next fight, scheduled for March 1st, 2025, at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. He will defend his WBA lightweight title against Lamont Roach Jr. Originally planned for December in Houston, the bout was postponed for undisclosed reasons. This fight may serve as Davis's final chance to solidify his dominance in the lightweight division before stepping away from boxing.
You got me interested. You're like, all right, bro, let's see who wins this. You know what I mean? It's they fight, you know, obviously we're not fighting to the death in boxing, but nonetheless, intriguing.
Davis's decision to retire at the peak of his career has sent shockwaves through the boxing world, sparking mixed reactions. While some criticize his choice to leave during his prime, Davis remains one of the most charismatic and polarizing figures in modern boxing. Known for his aggressive fighting style and devastating knockout power, he has firmly established himself as one of the sport's elites as his retirement approaches. Discussions about the legacy he will leave behind are sure to dominate conversations in the boxing community in the months ahead.
Pull around. I mean, if he's willing to fight, I'm ready. I'm ready to fight, and I think it should happen. But I ain't gonna lie, I can't sit there.
If he wants to retire with the career that he got, then go ahead and do whatever you have to do. Shocker Stevenson said to Fight Hub TV, expressing his disagreement with Davis's decision. I disagree with it. I think it's soft, but that's on him. Stevenson continued, I ain't going to lie. I ain't into chasing people around. If he's willing to fight, I'm ready to fight. I think it should happen, but I can't sit there and chase you, and then he's going to try to make it seem like I need him. I don't need him. If Davis retires without facing Stevenson, the sport will lose the chance to witness one of the most anticipated lightweight clashes in decades. Meanwhile, World Boxing Council lightweight champion Stevenson is preparing for a showdown with rising prospect Floyd Schofield Jr. on February 22nd in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia.
You know, he could try to make it seem as though I need him and I don't need him. So
for now, Davis appears determined to end his career in 2025, aiming to cement his legacy as one of the greatest fighters of his era. Still, fans are holding out hope that in his final year, Tank will deliver some of the most thrilling bouts of his already stellar career. Former 4-division world champion Mikey Garcia gave his opinion and recommended Tank pursue a unification fight against Vasyl Lomachenko, which he believes would be more exciting than facing Shocker Stevenson. I think Shocker Stevenson is a great fighter, Garcia told Fight Hub TV. He has the skills, the talent, and he's a great boxer. He's super talented with footwork, speed, reflexes, and the ability to counterpunch.
I'll tell you why. I'm not a big fan of that fight. Now, I do believe Shakur Stevenson is a great fighter as well as a skills go. He's got the skills. He's got the talent. He's got the skills. Great boxer.
Despite the praise for Stevenson, Mikey Garcia added that he would not like to see him in the ring against Davis because Stevenson's style would be to box him. Rather than going all out like Lomachenko, I would rather see Tank fight other guys, for example, Lomachenko, because I know he's there to fight, Garcia said. Even though he also has great footwork and speed and all that, he's there to fight. Garcia continued, explaining that a fight with Shocker Stevenson would not be as exciting for Tank. I'm not a fan of his fight because Shocker Stevenson is the kind of fighter that is going to box, regardless of what critics or fans want to see. It remains unclear if a fight between Baltimore's Davis and Ukraine's Lomachenko, who is 36, is still on the horizon, especially after their proposed encounter last November fell through.
Because Shakur Stevenson is the kind of fighter that he's going to fight his fight regardless of what the critics or fans or anybody wants to see. He's going to fight his fight, which is fine. That's his style. He's going to be boxer.
Lomachenko, a 3-division champion currently holding a lightweight belt, has yet to defend his title 8 months after defeating George Kambosos Jr. In an 11th round stoppage victory, Lomachenko missed an initial 60-day medical extension, which expired on January 11th. forcing the IBF to order contenders Raymond Muratalla and Zur Abdullayev to fight for an interim championship. Meanwhile, Shakur Stevenson, preparing for his upcoming lightweight title defense against Floyd Schofield on February 22nd, has been criticized for his passive style in recent victories. Mikey Garcia believes Stevenson will need to adjust his approach if he wants to land a fight with Tank Davis, as Garcia feels Stevenson's style won't be exciting enough for fans or Davis.
Skills, great boxer, super talented with footwork, with speed, with reflexes, counter-punching ability. He's one of the very, very best. But I'm not a fan of that fight.
Mikey Garcia believes that a fight between Tank Davis and Shakur Stevenson wouldn't be as exciting, pointing out that Stevenson's more passive style could make it less thrilling for fans. Garcia feels that Davis may struggle to land big matchups if he keeps facing fighters who aren't considered serious threats. However, before thinking about opponents like Lomachenko or Stevenson, Davis must first face Lamont Roach Jr. on January 1st, 2025. In Washington, D.C., Garcia is confident that Davis will have the upper hand against Roach, who is moving up to challenge at 135, saying that Davis's vast experience, skill, and power will likely prove too much for Roach to handle. At the London Ring Awards, the biggest names in boxing came together to celebrate the best in the sport. But one notable absence was Gervonta Tank Davis. Despite his undefeated record of 30 wins and 28 knockouts, Davis was missing from the event. There has been speculation that Tank was not invited due to his strained relationship with Riyadh Season and Sheikh Turki Alec, who also owns the Ring magazine. It seems that Davis wasn't pleased about being excluded from the prestigious ceremony, feeling as though he was left out of the invite list despite his standing as one of boxing's elite fighters. Gervonta Davis took to his X, formerly Twitter account to express his displeasure after being left out of the Ring Magazine Awards ceremony, posting several messages that he later deleted. His frustration quickly escalated into a social media spat when Terence Crawford decided to mock Davis, fueling the ongoing dispute. Crawford's comments sparked more tension, which continued well into the following days, with Tank taking aim at both the event organizers and some of the attendees. While the reasons for Davis's absence from the awards remain unclear, it's evident that his strained relationship with the Riyadh Season team, including Sheikh Turki Alec, played a role in the situation. Crawford's response only added fuel to the fire, leading to more drama on social networks. The ongoing tension between Gervonta Davis and Terence Crawford has been building for a while, with the two champions regularly exchanging jabs. Recently, Crawford, who might be moving toward a massive fight with Canelo Alvarez later this year, took a shot at Davis after he expressed frustration over being excluded from the Ring Magazine Awards. Crawford, seizing the opportunity, posted a mocking response on social media, saying, "I see somebody mad they weren't invited to the Ring Magazine Gala. I remember being left out. That's why when they let me in, I crashed the party," accompanied by laughing emojis. Davis's angry posts, which were later deleted, likely triggered Crawford's response. The posts showed Tank's frustration about being left out of the event, and some users managed to save screenshots before the posts disappeared. Crawford's taunt added fuel to the fire, proving that the rivalry between the two fighters is far from over. The exchange only intensifies the tension between them, with each taking shots at the other both inside and outside the ring. Davis Niab post mean Pucha, Sabko Kian Nahi Balaya, Us Niebi Likik Jo Log invite Hugh Hain, Wobus Unhi Log and Kobulate Hain Jo Unk Soft Deal Card Hain, for Eddie Hearn Par Tanamar Hugh Bola, Deco, Yechoda Sa Chua Samaida, Haki Cuts Carlia, Us Bod, Davis Ni Sabko Challenge Kia Quo Am Bettering Fighters Ko Ek Deucer Say Ladni Kladke, DEIN, Turkish Shalit Kobe Davis Ni Criticize Kia. Kadia Quo Boxing Bear Mean Cuts Nahi Yanta. Davis's posts seemed to be directed at the head of Riyadh season, criticizing them for turning to someone who, according to him, doesn't understand boxing. He pointed out that if this person was truly good for the sport, they should be focusing on developing fighters from their own area. Instead, Davis emphasized that the individual doesn't know anything about boxing, yet they're still being hailed as an important figure in the sport. These posts, like others, were eventually deleted from his X account. Davis went on a rant about how many fighters, unlike him, are willing to leave American shores to make their money, only to end up fighting in front of small, barely noticeable crowds. The feud between Davis and Crawford escalated when Tank bragged to Terrence that he was making more money. Crawford, not backing down, responded, which clearly didn't sit well with Davis. In a series of deleted posts, Davis hit back at Crawford, questioning how much money the champion actually had. In a heated exchange, Tank Davis fired back at Crawford, claiming, "I still make more than you. Y'all think he's chasing greatness, but he's not. He's just doing what he has to do to make decent money." Davis continued, boasting about his wealth and investments, adding, "I don't owe a dollar in taxes. You can't buy anything I can't buy or want, and that's a fact." Crawford, not backing down, responded in kind, throwing jabs at Tank's financial situation. The two's back and forth escalated into a war of words that intrigued fans. This drama unfolded just months after Tank stunned everyone by announcing his plans to retire by the end of 2025 during the Lamont Roach fight press conference. If that's the case, many followers might wonder why Tank Davis even cares about such formalities, like not receiving an invitation. However, it might not be the first time Terrence Crawford took a dig at the Baltimore native. After Crawford defeated Errol Spence Jr. to become the undisputed champion, he caught wind of Tank's claim that he could beat him at 147. This led to a bit of back and forth between the two, with Crawford seemingly unfazed by Davis's bold claims. Speaking on The Breakfast Club, an unperturbed Terrence Crawford acknowledged Tank Davis's talent in the ring, but made it clear that there are different levels in boxing. He downplayed the banter, saying that if Davis thinks he can just move up to 147 and knock him out, he's got another thing coming. While the idea of a showdown between the two American boxing icons may never materialize, Crawford has his sights set on one big fight, the potential clash with Canelo Alvarez. Terrence Crawford and Gervonta Tank Davis are currently 3 divisions apart, but have shared some common ground in the past. Crawford began his career at lightweight, the division where Tank Davis currently holds a world championship. Crawford later became undisputed at super lightweight, where Tank has also claimed a title. Crawford has since moved up, clearing out the welterweight division before making his debut at 154 pounds last year. Meanwhile, Davis continues to dominate at 135. Holding the WBA world title and knocking out opponents left and right. Davis has previously claimed he could knock Crawford out, perhaps in jest, but the bigger man has warned him not to punch above his weight.
I mean, you came up from 35, right?
He ain't fighting no real guys at 47.
See, okay. What about everyone's talking about Errol fighting the win?
While the fight between Terrence Crawford and Gervonta Tank Davis seems highly unlikely, some believe it wouldn't be a one-sided affair. In an interview with Real Life Productions, multi-division world champion Roy Jones Jr. expressed that it would be a very competitive bout if the two met just under the welterweight limit. Jones gave Tank a good chance, citing that while he doesn't see anyone beating Crawford unless they are significantly bigger, a fight at around 145 pounds could be very interesting. That's a good damn fight, he said. clearly recognizing the potential for a close and exciting matchup.
But Crawford, on the other hand, I don't see nobody around that's gonna beat Bud unless somebody way bigger than him. But don't sleep on the fact that
Roy Jones Jr. highlighted that both Terrence Crawford and Gervonta Davis possess high boxing IQs, but Tank's explosiveness sets him apart, giving him an edge that even someone like Errol Spence didn't have. An explosive fighter can go a lot of places, Jones said, drawing from his own experience of excelling due to his explosiveness. This dynamic could make a fight between Crawford and Tank very intriguing if it were ever to happen. While the two American stars will likely continue their separate paths, Crawford focusing on a potential fight with Canelo Alvarez in the super middleweight division, which would require a significant 14-pound jump. Davis will face Lamont Roach Jr. on March 1st at the Barclays Center. Tank recently hinted at retiring at the end of 2025, so fans will eagerly anticipate his upcoming clash, which could be one of his last fights before his planned exit from the sport.
if him and Tank fought at about 145, that's a good daggone fight. You understand me? Matter of fact, I'm gonna say that's a good damn fight. You understand me? Because they both have very high IQs, and Tank is very explosive. See, that's the one thing Tank got there.
The 2025 boxing schedule is shaping up to be one of the most exciting in recent memory, with multiple blockbuster fights on the horizon. One of the most highly anticipated bouts is the showdown between Shocker Stevenson and Gervonta Tank Davis. However, despite talks and high expectations, the fight has been delayed. Matchroom boxing promoter Eddie Hearn seemed to have the matchup almost finalized, but it hasn't come to fruition yet. Davis's co-trainer, Kenny Ellis, has accused Stevenson of being hesitant, suggesting that even if Stevenson wins his next fight, he will still find a way to delay their bout. Even if his hand isn't hurt, it's going to hurt. Ellis stated in an interview with Mill City Boxing, implying that Stevenson is stalling. Ellis claimed this is a tactic to buy time. As fans eagerly await the showdown, boxing enthusiasts can stay up to date with all the latest news and updates by subscribing to our YouTube channel and turning on notifications for top quality content. Until next time, peace out.